Welcome to seminar for Asian Pacific Heritage Month. I'm John Chua. I work for strategic marketing, and I'm presenting the many influences of Filipino cuisine. Before we begin, we with the cuisine, here are some facts of the Philippines. The Philippines is an archipelago located in Southeast Asia with 7,641 islands that are categorized under three main islands, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. When I was growing up, we were told that the Philippines has only 7,100 islands. So I'm not really sure where the other 500 islands came about. As of 2020, Philippines has a population of 109 million people, making it the 12th most populous country in the world. It is also the third largest English-speaking country with 95 population who speak in English. English is also considered as one of the national languages in the country. Capital is Manila, and it is the world's most densely populated city. It is also where the oldest Chinatown is located, outside of China. Ferdinand Magellan named the island Isla de Poniente when he landed in 1521 and was renamed to Las Islas Filipinas by Spanish explorer Ruy Lopez de Villalobos in honor of Philip II of Spain in 1542. Some influences. Filipino cuisine is very complex, sort of a fusion cuisine due to its plethora of Eastern and Western influences. The first to influence the cuisine were the Chinese traders. Chinese were the first to trade in the Philippines, and they introduced soy sauce, fish sauce, and the method of stir frying. This led to the birth of many Filipino Chinese dishes, such as pancit, which is a noodle dish, siopao, which is a hot bun, and lumpia, which is a spring roll. A lot of the noodle dishes in the Philippines have Chinese influences, such as bihon, miki, mami, lomi, and mishwa. Next came the colonizers, which they're the three main colonizers of the country. First was Philippines was under Spain for 333 years, and that brought a lot of Spanish influences in the Filipino cuisine. Dishes such as lechon, which is the roast pig, puchero, paella, leche flan, and embutido have been reconstructed and adapted using local ingredients. The Japanese have direct influence in the Filipino favorite dessert called halo-halo. In English, it's called mix-mix. Halo-halo is made up of various ingredients such as ube jam, sugar palm fruit, sweetened beans, coconut strips with crushed ice and evaporated milk. It's a great dessert, especially on a hot summer day. Anthony Bourdain actually praised this dish and called it oddly beautiful. The Americans introduced the hot dogs and hamburgers and the art of fast food, in addition to technologies such as the microwave and refrigerators. Philippine cuisine was also influenced by her neighboring countries, such as Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia, which were brought in the chili and coconut. This can be found especially in one of the regions in the country that makes Lying and Bicol Express. While Indian influences can be found in a dessert called bibingka, a rice-based delicacy, and kare-kare, which is a stew with savory peanut sauce, which is inspired by the Madrasi curry. So what are the characteristics of Filipino cuisine? The history of Filipino cuisine runs parallel with the history of the Philippines, as what I discussed in the previous slide. It is also known for its bold flavors, a combination of sweet, sour, and salty. It normally comes in pairing of something sweet and something salty. Example would be the champorado, which is a sweet cocoa rice porridge shown in the picture on the slide, paired with tuyo, which is a salted sun-dried fish. One item that's prevalent in every Filipino dish is vinegar. And you can see it later when I showed you all the other Filipino dishes. It's quite versatile since most dishes can be made with different combination of meat and vegetables. An example would be sinigang, a sour soup that has many variations. Dishes also come with rice. Rice is a primary staple food in the Philippines, and you will always find rice in every Filipino parties and household. A lot of eateries in the Philippines even serve unlimited rice, and it is not unusual to eat rice at breakfast time. Filipino dishes are usually served family style. Filipinos put a lot of value on family, and custom calls for placing all the dishes on the table at the same time. It is not uncommon for Filipinos to also share dishes with each other. And lastly, Filipino cuisine, there's a term called nothing is wasted. So the best way to explain this is to give you an example. Example will be a pig. Pig's leg is cooked into a crispy pata, while pig's head is chopped into a sisig dish. The blood of the pig is actually a main ingredient for another dish called dinuguan. So here are some of the well-known Filipino dishes. The most popular is adobo. Adobo takes its Spanish influence. It's a dish with meat and vegetables stewed in soy sauce, vinegar, bay leaves, and garlic. Everybody has a lot of ways of making adobo. Sinigang is a soup dish that is made with mostly tamarind. The soup was rated the best vegetable soup by Taste Atlas in 2021. It is characterized by its sour and savory taste and can also be made with various ingredients. My favorite is sinigang na isda, which is fish sinigang. It's made with milkfish, okra, taro, and green long peppers. Next is lechon, which was brought to the Philippines by Spain, Spanish colonizers. The dish is made by roasting a whole suckling pig over charcoal. The city of Cebu, the oldest city and the first capital of the Philippines, is also known as the lechon capital of the country, and was praised by Anthony Bourdain as having the best pigs. There are two methods of preparing lechon, the Manila way and the Cebu way. It's almost like the North versus the South. The main difference between is the Cebu way is prepared stuffed with herbs, while the Manila method is usually just salt and pepper. One of the dishes that is usually served with lechon is dinuguan, which is a savory stew, usually made with pork offal, simmered in a dark gravy of pig's blood, garlic, chili, and vinegar. This is like one of the example of nothing is wasted Filipino dish. Another one is sisig. Sisig is also known around the world. The dish contains pig's ear, snout, cheek, and belly, sauteed with garlic, onion, chilies, and vinegar, topped with egg, and served in a sizzling plate. Most Filipinos will associate this dish as a pulutan or a variation of a Spanish tapa, and usually served with alcoholic beverages. The next is kare-kare, which is a stewed dish with oxtail and or tripe with eggplants, okra, and green beans cooked in peanut sauce. This dish shows Filipino ingenuity as this too is flavored with peanut butter. Variations of this dish could be made with pork, beef, or even seafood. Next is bulalo. Bulalo is the ultimate Filipino comfort food, especially during the rainy season. It is a beef marrow soup cooked simply by boiling all the ingredients on a low simmer. Pancit is a very versatile noodle dish. There are numerous variations of pancit, such as bihon and sotanghon, and is a very important part of any Filipino gathering. Next is lumpia Shanghai, which gets its influence from the Chinese spring roll. It is thinner and usually made with ground pork, all right, and carrots and prawns. This is usually served with a sweet sauce called banana ketchup. Then we got our Filipino type spaghetti. It's a sweet spaghetti with ground pork and hot dog, simmered in tomato sauce and banana sauce, plus with grated cheddar cheese. This is a favorite among Filipino children and is usually served at children parties. Halo-halo is the most popular dessert in the Philippines. As I previously mentioned, halo-halo is made up of various ingredients such as an ube jam, sugar palm fruit, sweetened beans, coconut strip, topped with crushed ice, and evaporated milk. It's definitely a great dessert during summer days in the Philippines. Another dessert is leche flan. This is another Filipino dessert, similar to the Spanish flan de leche, but much heavier. It is usually steamed in an oval-shaped tin bowl. In some places, we'll actually top halo-halo with a leche flan. And the last dish is balut. This is probably the most infamous Filipino food, which is, I don't really want to tell you what it is, especially if you're currently eating your lunch right now. But if you're really curious, just Google it, do a search. So now you have some ideas of Filipino food. Where can you get them around here? In Rockland County, there are 3 places that you can get Filipino food. The 3 places are Tropical Hut in Spring Valley and Tropical Grill in Bardonia. They serve Filipino food in the cafeteria style, while Carinderia in Nyack is a sit-down style restaurant. Both Tropical Hut and Grill also carry some Filipino groceries. If you really want to taste Filipino food from the Philippines, I would go to the 2 tropicals. Because Carinderia is more of like an American Filipino fusion. There's also a number of Filipino enclaves outside of Rockland County. They're called Little Manilas. One can be found in Bergenfield, New Jersey. It is known as the Little Manila of New Jersey, while Woodside, Queens has the Little Manila in New York. There are also Filipino communities in Jersey City, in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Hawaii, Seattle, and Texas. And lastly, you might have heard of Jollibee. Jollibee is a Filipino fast food chain that is growing in popularity, especially in the US. Currently, it has 70 stores across the United States, with most of them in California, because I believe there's like 24 of them there. First Jollibee opened was in Daly City, California in 1998. The first Jollibee to open in New York was in Queens. And currently there are 7 stores in the New York, New Jersey area, with the latest store in the American Dream Mall in East Rutherford. The chain is known for their crispy chicken joy and burger steak, plus their peach mango pie dessert. Hope the seminar was interesting of you. If you have any question, please feel free to ask through the chat or you can turn on your mic.
I had a question. Actually, I have a question about the balut.
Uh-huh.
I looked it up. Do they use any sort of specific kind of animal? Any specific kind of bird?
It's duck.
Duck?
It's a baby. I think it's a, if I remember, I'm sorry. I think it's either, is it a duck or a chicken? It's they call it a year-old or a year-old embryo. Mostly is chicken. That's why I said, like, usually people will eat it. It's been in Fear Factor. It's one of the challenges in Fear Factor. A lot of people will try it, but
Is it common?
It's common. Yeah, it's very common in the Philippines. It's actually, we used to eat it every night. Somebody will walk around carrying a basket of it, selling it. and then you just open your window and you buy it and you eat it right away. Also give you energy. I'm not really sure if it's true or not. I think my dad was.
I'm sure it's true. I'm sure it does.
I think my dad was just trying to make sure that we try it.
What's it taste like?
I actually was in Philippines in my early 20s with my mom for a trip to Cebu and Manila.
Yeah.
And they offer us, all these eggs. And they were like, if you dare have it, you can win a prize. It's a whole tour team. I didn't try it, but what the tourist guide told us is that it's very popular, especially after the ladies give birth to kids. When they want to regain their energy, they would eat a lot of this. That's what he told us.
And it's also good after if you drink a lot for the night.
Oh.
It's almost like, I guess they call it
hangover. Helps you
hangover cure.
Hangover cure, a natural hangover cure. But a lot of people, like surprisingly, a lot of actually Filipinos who are born here in America won't try it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born in the Philippines, so I grew up with it. So
Gotta try it.
yeah,
Gotta try it.
I'll pretend.
Does it have a certain taste to it, John?
No, it's like tastes like when you do a hard boiled egg. The difference is like, there's a soup. It's eaten warm, so it always is warm. So if there's soup in it, and the trick to really eating is not looking at it. You just start eating it, and you just eat the whole thing right away. Don't even think about it. Just eat it. Some people will actually put salt in it just to balance the taste out. But when the first time I ate it, it was just like, okay. Like, there's really nothing special to it. But if you knew what it is, then when we were younger, you're kind of like worried, like, oh, why am I eating this?
And that's part of it. If you grow up with the culture and everyone is eating it, you don't think it's a big deal. Just like when I was young, if you ever have skin issues, like you have rashes or whatever, then my dad would go to the market and then would get the snake and make in the soup, right?
Yeah.
And here people be like, what? Why are you doing that? And sometimes they would put the blood in the alcohol to clean up your body, and then they would drink it. So, I ate a lot of different things that people would say, ooh, but anyway, I'm not going to tell you.
I've done that too. This is not the Filipino culture, but more of a Chinese culture. Is my dad actually brought all my siblings and me to a restaurant to eat snake. Like, yeah, and then it goes down the line. Like, here's the snake blood with a little wine. Everybody has to drink it. Yeah, you have no choice. You have to do it, or else you're not going home.
That's cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the presentation, John. It was very interesting.
No, you're welcome.
So is it, in terms of like, since you brought up hangovers, are they like a beer drinking Filipinos? Are they a beer drinking culture? Or are they a hard alcohol, more wine?
Yeah, Filipinos are more of, I would say, the hard alcohol drinkers. They'll drink beer too. You probably have heard of San Miguel.
I have.
San Miguel is a big Filipino beer. But
It's in one of my favorite short stories, actually.
there you go.
I drink
And their alcohol, I would say the alcohol content of those beers are more higher than Budweiser and
Yeah.
the Coors Light here.
Yeah, we have weak beer.
Yeah. But Filipinos do love to drink. They love to drink, especially when there's a big occasion. Or they'll love to drink when, you're just hanging out with people. That one of the dishes called the sisig, a lot of Filipinos will eat that while drinking beer. That's their like, I don't know, like appetizer or finger food type of dish. But a lot of if you go to the provinces, they'll drink more hard liquor. They make their own gin, and those gin, they said one shot and you're gonna be passing away. You're pass away. You're sleeping.
Bathtub gin.
Yeah, you go straight to the bed. Yeah,
It's like moonshine.
yeah, stronger than moonshine.
Crazy. Very
But
good.
yeah, because in the Philippines, if you go to the provinces, they have so many different dishes too. Like you can actually go to one of the regions and they'll have like 10 different dishes there, and 10 different tastes too. You go to this, like if you went to Cebu and Manila and Cebu has so many dishes that when you eat it, you're like, wow, this is different compared to the Manila way.
The only thing I remember is that we were at the beach side and they
Yeah.
just set up the barbecue right there. And then they would just catch the seafood and then they would grill it right away for us.
Yeah.
So it's like an outdoor, right at the beach party. And all the seafood, they just taste so fresh because they just catch it right away. And then they would ask us, what do you want? And we were like, what do you mean? Whatever you want, you name it, we will go and catch it now.
Yeah.
And then they really go into, the ocean and catch it and then show you. And they put in a basket and then they give you a price. They'll be like, okay, this basket for this amount of money, yes or no? And you say yes, you give them the money. They grilled it right there. You sit down, you started to eat, and then they give you whatever drink you want.
Yeah.
So that was like, when I was in my early 20s, I was like, oh my goodness, this is a different heaven. Like you tell people what you want, and then they go into the ocean,
Yeah.
they go into the sea, and then they catch it for you.
You got to haggle first. They're like, I want to pay this much only. But yeah, if you definitely go to the Philippines, if you go to the beach area, that's what most of them will do. They'll even go to the restaurants there. They'll have catch of the day, and all of them were just caught that day. So everything is fresh. And then you can tell them like, oh, I want it to be grilled, to be steamed, to be fried with this, and they'll usually will make it for you.
Very cool.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Zhang Zhang. Now you make us so hungry.